Welcome to the world of science fiction, where extraordinary tales come to life. Enjoy the journey. The toaster sparked, sending a thin curl of smoke toward the ceiling. Sam O'Malley jerked the screwdriver back and sucked on his singed thumb. "Come on, sweetheart," he muttered to the vintage Earth appliance. "Don't be difficult. You're a 2087 Sunbeam classic. You were built to last forever, not die on some rust bucket planet." The repair shop's ventilation wheezed overhead, struggling against Rust Harbor's perpetual humidity. Outside, transport ships roared past, rattling the grimy windows that hadn't been cleaned since the previous owner died 2 years back. Sam had inherited the shop along with its coating of grease, boxes of mysterious parts, and a reputation as the place where broken things went to get a second chance. He adjusted his work lamp and peered into the toaster's guts. 43 melted heating elements stared back at him. His hand trembled. No, not 43. 6, just 6 heating elements. Sam set down the screwdriver and reached for the half-empty bottle of Martian whiskey beside his toolbox. The burn helped push the number back down where it belonged, buried under 5 years of fixing other people's junk. "Mr. Toaster doesn't drink on the job," he told the appliance. "Mr. Toaster has his life together. Be like Mr. Toaster." The shop's door sensor chimed. Sam didn't look up. Probably another dock worker with a busted comm unit or, Mister, help!" A small purple blur slammed into his workbench. Tools scattered. The whiskey bottle tipped, spinning toward the edge. Sam lunged, catching it just before it shattered on the concrete floor. A Valurian child stood in his shop, silver hair wild around her tear-stained face. She clutched something to her chest, a mechanical hamster, its tiny legs frozen mid-scamper. Her dress probably cost more than Sam made in 3 months, though it was now decorated with what looked like engine grease and possibly mustard. "He's broken," she wailed. "Mr. Whiskers won't move, and he's my only friend, and I'll be super sad if he stays broken forever and ever." Sam stared at her. In 6 months of running this shop, he'd never seen a Valurian child. Hell, he'd barely seen Valurian adults. They lived in the climate-controlled towers at the city's heart, not down here where the air tasted like rust and engine exhaust. "Kid, where are your... Can you fix him? Please. I have money." She dug into her pocket and produced a credit chip worth more than his monthly rent. The man at the fancy store said Mr. Whiskers was unfixable, but you have a sign that says you fix anything and anything means Mr. Whiskers too, right? Sam took the robot hamster, turning it over in his hands. High-end Valurian tech, probably custom-made. The kind of toy that cost more than most families' yearly income. One of its optical sensors had come loose, jamming the motor control circuit. "What's your name, kid?" "Aveline Valar. I'm 8 years old. Well, almost 8 1/4, but that's basically 8. Can you fix him?" Valar. Sam's stomach dropped. As in Valar Biotech, the company that owned half the planet's medical facilities. This kid's family could buy his entire district and turn it into a parking lot. "Where's your security detail, Aveline?" She scuffed her expensive shoe against his dirty floor. "I maybe might have told them I was taking a nap for 3 hours. They think I'm really good at napping." "You snuck out from the Valurian district to come to the port." "Mr. Whiskers needed help, and Helen, she's my tutor, she said there was a human down here who could fix anything, even hearts, but I don't need a heart fixed, just Mr. Whiskers." Sam grabbed a micro tool from his bench. The repair took 30 seconds, popped the sensor back into place, resolder one connection, reset the motor control. Mr. Whiskers chirped and scampered across his palm. "Mr. Whiskers!" Aveline snatched the robot, hugging it tight enough that Sam worried she might break it again. "You're alive! You're okay! The scary broken time is over!" "Kid, Aveline, you need to get home. The port's no place for—" Thank you. She bounced on her toes. You're the best fixer in the whole galaxy, maybe 2 galaxies. How much money? I can get more money if you need more money. No charge, but you can't come back here. It's not safe. Her face fell. But what if Mr. Whiskers breaks again? He won't. I reinforced the connection. He's tougher now. Like you? She studied him with those unsettling silver Valyrian eyes. You look tough, like you've been broken and fixed yourself. Sam's throat tightened. Go home, kid. My sister Freya used to fix things too. Not hamsters, people things, brain things. Aveline's voice dropped. But then her work exploded and now she can't see and she doesn't fix anything anymore. She just sits and sits and sits. I'm sorry about your sister. She used to laugh all the time and sing. She'd make up songs about my stuffed animals and dance around our living room, and she gave the best hugs. Now she gives sad hugs. They're still good, but they're heavy, you know? Sam did know. He'd given those same hugs after the accident. Hugs that tried to hold someone together while you fell apart. You better go before someone notices you're missing. Aveline nodded but didn't move. You're nice. Not fancy nice where people smile with just their mouths. Real nice. Like you actually fixed Mr. Whiskers because he needed fixing, not because we have money. It was just a loose sensor. Will you be here tomorrow? I'm always here. Good, because I might need things fixed. Not Mr. Whiskers. Other things. Probably. Maybe. She backed toward the door, Mr. Whiskers perched on her shoulder. Bye, Mr. Fixer. Thank you for saving Mr. Whiskers from eternal brokenness. She vanished into the crowded street. Sam stood there holding her forgotten credit chip, wondering what the hell just happened. 3 days passed before Aveline returned. Sam had almost convinced himself she'd been some whiskey-induced hallucination when the door chimed, and there she was, Mr. Whiskers on her shoulder and fury on her small face. That mean man! She stomped, actually stomped, into his shop. That horrible, awful, no-good space pig. Whoa, kid, what happened? He made Freya cry. My sister never cries. Not even when the doctors said her eyes couldn't be fixed. Not even when Uncle Morgan says mean things about Daddy's company. But today she cried and cried and cried. Sam set down the communicator he'd been repairing. Who made her cry? Jonathan Ashford III. She said the name like it tasted bad. He was supposed to marry Freya, but then her eyes got broken, and today he said, her small fist clenched. He said nobody wants a broken wife, that she's useless now. That's not true. Freya's not broken, she just can't see. That's a terrible thing to say. Right? Right? Aveline climbed onto his work stool, Mr. Whiskers scampering down to investigate Sam's tools. Freya's still smart and funny, and she knows everything about brains and science, and she makes the best hot chocolate in the universe. She uses real earth cocoa. But Jonathan Ashford III doesn't care because she can't see his stupid face anymore. The third. What? You said the turd. It's the third. Aveline giggled despite her anger. I like mine better. Me too. She swung her legs, silver hair catching the work lamp's light. You know what Freya needs? Time to heal? No. Well, yes, but also no. She needs someone who doesn't care that she can't see. Someone who won't look at her like she's broken. Someone who... Her eyes went wide. Oh my stars. What? You should marry her? Sam nearly dropped his screwdriver. What? It's perfect. You can marry Freya. Kid, I don't even know your sister. But you could. And she can't see how messy you are. Aveline gestured at his cluttered shop. Or that your nose is all bent. Did you fight someone? You look like you fought someone. Or maybe a wall. Thanks for the confidence boost. No, it's good. See, Freya's super pretty. Like super pretty. All the men want to marry her because she's pretty and rich, but they get weird when they find out she's blind. But you're already weird. Still not feeling the compliment here. You fix broken things, and you don't care if they're fancy or not. You fix Mr. Whiskers even though I'm a stranger. You'd fix Freya's heart. Hearts aren't toasters, Aveline. But they break the same way. Something comes loose inside and then nothing works right and everything hurts. She pulled Mr. Whiskers back onto her lap. Freya pretends she's okay, but I know she's not. She thinks nobody will ever love her now. But you would, because you don't care about the seeing stuff. You can't just decide two people should get married. Why not? Adults do it all the time. They call it arranged marriage and act like it's fancy. This is the same thing except better because I actually care about Freya being happy, not about joining companies or whatever boring thing adults want. Sam rubbed his face. Aveline, your sister is Freya Valar. She owns half this planet. I fix toasters in a shop that smells like motor oil and regret. So? So we're from different worlds. We're literally from different worlds. I'm from Valuria Prime and you're from Earth and we're talking just fine. That's not... Tomorrow, 4 o'clock. Bring her here. What? Aveline hopped off the stool. I'll tell Freya her audio thingy needs fixing. You fix it. You talk. You fall in love. Easy. That's not how love works. How do you know? Are you married? No, but... Do you have a girlfriend? Not currently. When was your last date? Sam calculated. 6 months ago. What happened? She said I was emotionally unavailable and possibly in love with my work. Your work is toasters. She might have had a point. Aveline patted his arm with one small purple hand. Don't worry. Freya won't judge you for loving toasters. She can't even see them. Before Sam could respond, she was gone again, leaving him staring at Mr. Whiskers, who seemed to be judging him with tiny mechanical eyes. This is insane, he told the robot. Mr. Whiskers chirped in what sounded like agreement. At exactly 4 o'clock the next day, Sam was elbow-deep in a malfunctioning food processor when the door chimed. He looked up to find Aveline dragging a woman into his shop, a woman who moved with the practiced grace of someone who'd memorized every step. Freya Valar was nothing like he'd expected. No dramatic dark glasses, no self-pitying aura. She wore simple clothes, expensive, yes, but understated. Her silver hair was pulled back in a practical style, and her unseeing eyes were a striking violet, clouded but somehow still intense. I apologize for my sister, she said immediately. She insisted my audio translator was broken, but it seems to work fine. She held up the device. I suspect this is one of her schemes. It's not a scheme, Aveline protested. It's a coincidence, right, Sam? Sam wiped his hands on a rag. Your translator actually does have a problem. Minor frequency drift in the Valurian to standard channel. Probably wouldn't notice it unless someone spoke really fast. Freya tilted her head. You can tell that just by looking at it? I can hear it. Little whine in the upper register. Here, let me... He took the device, popped it open with practiced ease. This coupling is loose. Happens with the Mark 7 models. You can't tell me to see something, Freya said, but there was amusement in her voice. I'm blind. Right, sorry, I'm joking, partially. People get so weird about vision metaphors around me, like I'll crumble if someone says, see you later. Sam fixed the coupling and handed it back. There, should be better now. Freya activated it, listening. You're right, the wine is gone. She paused. This place smells like motor oil and poor life choices. That's probably me. The motor oil, I mean. The poor life choices are more of a general atmosphere thing. She actually smiled. Not the polite, practiced smile he'd expected, but something genuine. Aveline says you fixed her hamster. Mr. Whiskers is not just a hamster, Aveline interrupted. He's a very sophisticated robot companion, who you threw at Jonathan Ashford's head last week. He deserved it. Yes, Freya agreed. He did. They ended up talking for an hour. Freya had a sharp wit that caught Sam off guard, self-deprecating without being self-pitying, intelligent without condescension. She asked about his work, seemed genuinely interested in the challenge of fixing obsolete technology. "Why not just replace things?" she asked. "Because sometimes broken things are worth fixing. They have history, character. Plus, not everyone can afford new." A philosopher mechanic. Just a guy who talks to toasters. Aveline mentioned that. Should I be concerned? Only if they start talking back. When she left, Aveline stayed behind. "So?" she demanded. "Do you like her?" "Kid." She laughed. 3 times. Freya never laughs anymore. Over the next 2 weeks, Freya found excuses to return. A broken data pad that just needed a restart. A malfunctioning coffee maker that worked fine but somehow required lengthy discussion about optimal brewing temperatures. Each visit lasted longer, their conversations flowing from technology to philosophy to the challenges of raising an 8-year-old who thought she was a master spy. "She keeps leaving Mr. Whiskers in my bag," Freya said during her 5th visit. "Says he's gathering intelligence." Intelligence on what? Whether I'm happy. Apparently robot hamsters can sense emotions. Can they? According to Aveline, Mr. Whiskers thinks I should smile more and eat less salad. Smart hamster. It was during that visit that Freya first talked about the explosion. Not the details, just the aftermath, the darkness, the pity, the way people treated her like broken glass. "But you don't," she said. "Don't what?" "Treat me like I'm fragile. You argue with me. You forget to modify your language. You let me pour my own coffee even though I spilled it once." "Twice." "Whose shop is this?" Sam laughed. "Fair point." "Can I tell you something?" she asked suddenly. "Sure." "These past 2 weeks, this is the most normal I've felt since the accident. Just sitting here, talking about nothing important with someone who doesn't care that I'm Freya Valar, tragic heiress." She turned toward him, unseeing eyes somehow finding his. "Thank you for that." Before Sam could respond, Aveline burst in. "Freya, there's a party tomorrow, a big fancy one for Daddy's company. You have to go. I don't have to do anything. But you do, and Sam should come." "What?" Sam and Freya said simultaneously. "It's perfect. Sam needs to see you in a pretty dress." "I'm blind, Aveline. Sam could see me in a potato sack and I wouldn't know." "And you need to dance with someone who won't step on your feet." "I don't dance anymore." "Because you don't have anyone good to dance with. Sam, do you dance?" "Like a malfunctioning robot." "Perfect. Freya loves robots." And somehow, through 8-year-old logic and relentless persistence, Aveline convinced them both, which led to this moment. Sam standing in a too-tight tux with a purple bow tie, about to enter a world he didn't belong in for a woman he was definitely not falling for. Definitely not. The tuxedo rental shop smelled like mothballs and dry cleaning solvent. Sam stood in front of the mirror, struggling with a bow tie that seemed determined to strangle him. "No, no, no!" Aveline bounced on the fitting platform beside him. "The purple one! You have to wear the purple one." "Kid, I'm already going to stand out like a grease stain on silk. The purple bow tie isn't helping." "But it matches us. Freya's wearing purple. She always wears purple now because I told her it makes her look mysterious. And I'm wearing purple, so you need purple too, or you'll ruin the aesthetic." "The aesthetic?" "That's a fancy word for how things look together. Helen taught me. See? I'm educational." The elderly tailor, a Martian with too many fingers, clicked disapprovingly. "The child has taste. Purple it is." Sam caught his reflection again. 5 years of fixing toasters hadn't prepared him for this. The tux hung wrong on his frame, too tight in the shoulders from years of manual labor, too loose in the waist from too many skipped meals. He looked like what he was, a mechanic playing dress-up. "You look nervous," Aveline observed. "Are you going to throw up? Please don't throw up on the tux. We had to pay extra because you're so tall. I'm not going to throw up. Good. Because Freya really wants you there. She said so. Well, she said, I suppose Sam could benefit from experiencing actual food instead of whatever he survives on. But that's basically Freya speak for, please come. 3 hours later, Sam stood at the entrance to the Valar Corporate Towers ballroom, his rented shoes already pinching. Through the doorway, he could see Valyrians in clothing that cost more than his shop made in a year. They moved like water, all grace and fluid gestures, making him feel like a badly assembled robot. Stop fidgeting, Freya's voice came from beside him. She'd appeared silently, her hand finding his arm with practiced ease. You're broadcasting anxiety loud enough for everyone to hear. How do you do that? Do what? Know where I am, what I'm feeling. She tilted her head, considering. You have a very specific presence, like a combustion engine in a room full of hover cars, all contained energy and barely controlled explosions. That's either an insult or the nicest thing anyone's ever said about me. Both, probably. Her fingers tightened on his arm. Fair warning, everyone's going to stare. At you? You look... Sam caught himself. How did you compliment someone who couldn't see themselves? You look like you're about to buy the whole planet and turn it into a garden. I meant they'll stare at you. The human mechanic I've been spending time with. The gossip networks have been buzzing for weeks. They entered together, and sure enough, conversation stuttered to a stop. Sam heard the whispers. Is that him? From the Port District. What is she thinking? They're wondering if you're a charity case, Freya murmured. Or if I'm having some kind of breakdown. Are you? Probably. But you're the most interesting breakdown I've had. Aveline materialized between them, Mr. Whiskers peeking from her tiny purse. The food here is terrible. It's all foam and dots and things that taste like other things but aren't actually those things. Who wants to eat foam? It's molecular gastronomy, sweetie, Freya said. It's dumb. Sam, did you bring any of those protein bars you hide in your jacket? How do you know about those? I know everything. I'm very observant. Also, you left one on your workbench and I was hungry. A smooth voice interrupted them. Freya, how wonderful to see you. Sam felt Freya tense. A man approached, tall, perfectly groomed with the kind of face that belonged on recruitment posters. Everything about him screamed money and power, from his tailored suit to his predatory smile. Morgan, Freya said, her voice cooling by several degrees. I didn't know you were coming. I'm a major shareholder in Valar Biotech. Of course I'm here. His gaze shifted to Sam. And this must be your friend, the mechanic. Sam O'Malley, Sam said, not offering his hand. Ah, yes. The disgraced stellar dynamics engineer. 43 casualties, wasn't it? The room seemed to shrink. Sam's fist clenched, but Aveline suddenly grabbed his hand. Sam fixes things, she announced loudly. He fixed Meister Whiskers. Can you fix robot hamsters, Mr. Morgan? I bet you can't. You look like someone who breaks things, not fixes them. Morgan's smile faltered. Children should be seen and not heard. That's stupid. If I couldn't talk, how would anyone know when I need the bathroom? Aveline, Freya warned. What? It's a legitimate question. Morgan returned his attention to Freya, dismissing Sam entirely. I heard about Jonathan. His loss, truly, but perhaps it's fortuitous. I have a proposition for you. Not interested. You haven't heard it yet. Nexus Dynamics has made remarkable advances in neural optic interfaces, technology that could restore your sight completely. All it would require is a partnership. You mean marriage, Freya said flatly. A merger of equals. Your family's biotech knowledge, our resources, and of course, you'd see again. Watch your sister grow up. See sunsets. Read books without audio assists. He stepped closer. Think about it, Freya. Your condition need not be permanent. Sam watched Freya's hand tremble against his arm. Before he could think, he spoke. "She said no to dinner, pal. Pretty sure marriage is off the table, too." Morgan turned, his perfect features twisting with amusement. "I wasn't aware the help had speaking privileges." "Funny thing about being disgraced, you stop caring what people like you think." "People like me?" Morgan stepped closer, voice dropping. "I could buy your entire district and turn it into a waste processing facility. I could have your shop condemned with one call. You're nothing." "Maybe, but I'm nothing standing right here, and you're still not getting anywhere with the lady." Aveline tugged on Morgan's expensive jacket. "Why does your face look like that?" "Like what?" "Like someone stretched skin over a robot but forgot to program emotions. Do you practice smiling in the mirror? You seem like someone who practices." "Aveline, enough," Freya said, but Sam could hear her fighting not to laugh. Morgan straightened his jacket. "Think about my offer, Freya. You know where to find me." He looked at Sam. "Enjoy the party, Mr. O'Malley. I doubt you'll be invited to another." After he left, Freya exhaled slowly. "You didn't have to do that." "Do what?" "Stand up to him. Morgan Cross doesn't forget slights." "Good, neither do I." Later that night, back in his shop, Sam spread technical manuals across his workbench. Valurian neurology techs he'd bought with 3 months of savings, salvaged medical equipment from a crashed transport, circuit boards that definitely weren't legal for civilian use. "What you doing?" Sam spun. Aveline sat on his counter, Mr. Whiskers exploring the scattered components. "How did you—" "Never mind. Doesn't matter. You can't be here this late." "I told Freya I was having a sleepover with my friend Emma. Emma's covering for me. She's very reliable. Her parents own the orbital station." "You're 8. You can't just—" "What you making?" She picked up a neural interface chip. "Is it a present? Is it for Freya? Is it for the wedding?" "There's no wedding, kiddo." "Not yet. But Freya smiles when you're around. She only smiles for real with us." Sam paused. "Us?" "Yeah, you, me, and Mr. Whiskers. We're a team. Team Fix Freya's sad face." She swung her legs. "So what is it?" "Something that might help your sister, but it's complicated and probably won't work." "Like trying to teach Mr. Whiskers to do backflips?" "Harder." "Wow, that's really hard. I tried for a whole week." She studied the components. "This looks like the stuff from Freya's old lab, the one that exploded." "How do you know what her lab equipment looked like?" "I visited all the time. Daddy said I couldn't, but Freya would sneak me in. She was building something super secret. She said it would help people's brains work better." Aveline's voice dropped. "Then the bad boom happened." "Tell me about the boom." "It was loud and bright. Freya pushed me under a desk and covered me, and then everything was fire and smoke, and she couldn't see anymore." Tears gathered in her silver eyes. "It was my fault. If I wasn't there, she could have run away faster." "Hey," Sam lifted her chin. "Look at me. It wasn't your fault. Your sister protected you because she loves you. That was her choice. But no buts. You know what caused the explosion?" "Freya says it was an accident, but Helen, my tutor, she says someone made it happen, someone who didn't want Freya to finish her work." "Like Morgan?" Aveline nodded vigorously. "He's mean, and his face is weird, and he offered Daddy lots of money for Freya's research, but Daddy said no, and then Daddy died, and then Freya's lab exploded, and now Morgan wants to marry her, which is gross." Sam filed that information away. "You should go home." "Can I help with the secret project?" "It's not—" "Please? I'm really good at keeping secrets. I haven't told Freya about the time you cried fixing that music box." "I wasn't crying. It was oil from the music box." "Sure." She patted his arm. "Your secret is safe." 2 weeks passed in a blur of secret work and Aveline's increasingly ridiculous matchmaking schemes. She accidentally locked Sam and Freya in a storage closet. The door just broke. Weird. She spilled juice on Freya's dress during lunch, forcing her to wear Sam's old t-shirt. Oopsie. But hey, Sam's shirt smells like motor oil and sadness, just like Freya likes. She ordered heart-shaped pizzas delivered to the shop during their coffee conversations. They were on sale. Heart-shaped means cheaper, right? Your sister, Sam told Freya one afternoon, has the subtlety of a meteor strike. Tell me about it. Yesterday she asked if I'd measured your bed to see if I'd fit. Sam choked on his coffee. What? She's worried about practical matters, apparently. Also wanted to know if you snore. I told her I had no idea, and she said, "Yet," in the most ominous voice an 8-year-old can manage. They sat in comfortable silence, the shop's familiar sounds wrapping around them. Freya had taken to visiting every other day, always with some excuse, a broken device, paperwork that needed reviewing, coffee that was somehow better from Sam's ancient machine than her expensive home system. "Can I ask you something?" Sam ventured. "You want to know about the explosion. Am I that obvious?" "You've been reading Valurian neurology texts. I can smell them on you. They use a specific binding compound that's quite distinctive. Plus, Aveline tells me everything. That kid needs to learn about secrets. She knows about secrets. She just chooses to ignore them." Freya's fingers found her coffee cup, tracing its rim. "What do you want to know?" "Everything." So she told him. About her father's vision for democratic medical technology, about developing neural interfaces that could cure blindness, paralysis, and neural damage, about Morgan's offers, each more aggressive than the last, about refusing to sell, about the day everything burned. "I was so close," she said, tears slipping beneath her dark glasses. 2 more weeks and we'd have had working prototypes, technology that could have helped millions. Instead, I'm the only victim who survived, and I can't even prove it wasn't an accident. Your research? Did anything survive? Fragments, pieces, nothing complete. Morgan made sure of that. Sam's hands clenched. He knew about corporate cover-ups, about profits over people. 43 graves proved that. What if someone could recreate it? Impossible. It took me years to develop with a full team and unlimited resources. But what if someone was very motivated and maybe had help from someone who knew the original research? Freya turned toward him, and even without seeing, her gaze seemed to pierce through him. "Sam, what are you doing?" "Fixing things. It's what I do." "This isn't a toaster." "No, it's justice. And maybe, if I'm very lucky and smarter than I think I am, it's hope." She was quiet for so long he thought she might leave. Then her hand found his across the table. "Show me." He led her to his workbench, guiding her fingers over the components. She identified each one by touch, her breathing quickening as she recognized her own theoretical work translated into physical form. "This is, how did you—" "Aveline remembered more than she thinks. And you talk in your sleep." "I do not. When have you heard me sleep? That storage closet was very small. You dozed off." She laughed, bright and unexpected. "You're insane. This is insane. It won't work." "Then help me make it work. Sam, please." She was quiet, her fingers still exploring his prototype. "Okay." They worked together for hours, Freya guiding him through neural pathways and synaptic interfaces while he translated her knowledge into tangible reality. Aveline helped by organizing screws and providing snacks. Brain work needs brain food. I read that. The lights went out just as they finished the primary coupling. The entire district plunged into darkness. "Grid failure," Sam muttered. "Happens twice a month. Generator should kick in." "Don't," Freya said suddenly. "Don't what?" "Don't turn on the generator. Just sit with me, in the dark." They found each other by touch, sitting on the floor against his workbench. Aveline had fallen asleep on the couch, Mr. Whiskers curled against her chest. "This is what it's always like for me," Freya said softly. "Dark. But with you here, it doesn't feel dark. It feels quiet, peaceful." "Freya, I know this is crazy. I know Aveline orchestrated all of this with the subtlety of a drunk elephant. But Sam, I haven't felt like myself since the explosion, until now, until you." He found her face in the darkness, thumbs brushing away tears he couldn't see. "You're brilliant," he said, "and funny. And you pretend to be cynical, but you're not. You're hopeful. You're so hopeful it hurts to watch sometimes." "Sam," he kissed her, soft, tentative, a question more than a statement. She answered by pulling him closer, her hands tangling in his hair. From the couch came a tiny whisper. "Finally, Mr. Whiskers, Operation Kiss Face is complete." They broke apart, laughing. "Were you awake the whole time?" Freya asked. "Maybe. Love is beautiful, also gross, but mostly beautiful." The lights flickered back on. Sam blinked, momentarily disoriented. Morgan Cross stood in the doorway, flanked by 2 security guards. "How domestic," Morgan said, his perfect smile sharp as glass. "The mechanic, the heiress, and the child. Like a fairy tale, if fairy tales happened in garbage-scented repair shops." Sam stood, pulling Freya up with him. "We're closed. I'm not here as a customer. I'm here with an opportunity." Morgan stepped forward, his guards spreading out to block the exit. "I know what you're building, O'Malley. Did you really think you could order neural interface components without anyone noticing? It's a free planet. Nothing's free, especially not freedom." Morgan pulled out a data pad. "Here's my offer. Give me the prototype and whatever research you've compiled. Walk away from Freya and her sister. In return, I restore your engineering license, clear your record regarding the stellar dynamics incident, and pay you enough to start over anywhere you want." "No. No? You haven't even considered—" "Don't need to. Get out." Morgan's smile vanished. "You're making a mistake. I own judges, police, safety inspectors. I can make your life extremely difficult." "You mean more difficult than living with 43 deaths on my conscience? Good luck with that." "Those deaths weren't your fault. The investigation proved stellar dynamics wasn't liable. Different thing entirely." Sam stepped closer. "I know about cover-ups, Cross. I know about corporations choosing profits over lives, and I know about men like you who think money makes them gods. Careful, O'Malley. Or what? You'll destroy my reputation? Ruin my business? Take everything I have?" Sam laughed, bitter and sharp. "Already been there. Survived that. You've got no leverage." "I have Freya." "No," Freya said, stepping forward. "You don't. You never did." Morgan's face flushed. "You're choosing him? This nobody? This failure?" "I'm choosing someone who sees me as more than a trophy or a tragedy. He's using you. He wants your money, your connections." "He fixed my sister's toy hamster for free," Aveline piped up, clutching Mr. Whiskers. "Evil people don't fix hamsters for free. That's just science." Morgan ignored her. "You could be respectable again, O'Malley. Have your life back." "I have a life. It's messy and weird, but it's mine." "Does it include 43 graves?" The punch came from nowhere and everywhere at once. Sam's fist connected with Morgan's perfect jaw, sending him stumbling backward into his guards. Morgan touched his lip, seeing blood. His smile returned, predatory and satisfied. "Assault, with witnesses." He straightened his jacket. "Now I can have you arrested any time I want. Stay away from Freya, stop your little project, or spend the next decade in prison." He left, his footsteps echoing in the sudden silence. "Sam," Freya began. I know. That was stupid." "That was awesome," Aveline shouted. "You punched him right in his weird robot face. Did you see how surprised he looked? Can you teach me to punch?" No, Sam and Freya said simultaneously. You're no fun. She yawned. Can we go home now? This has been very exciting, but I'm tired and Mr. Whiskers needs his beauty sleep. As they prepared to leave, Freya pulled Sam aside. He means it. About the arrest. I know. So what do we do? Sam looked at his prototype, at Aveline falling asleep against Freya's shoulder, at the woman who'd brought light back into his dark world. We finish what we started, and we do it fast. The police cruiser's lights painted Sam's shop in alternating red and blue. He had maybe 30 seconds before they reached the door, enough time to shove the prototype deeper into the hidden compartment behind his workbench, but not enough to hide the scattered neural interface components. Sam? Aveline stood in the doorway, Mr. Whiskers clutched to her chest. Why are there police? Did you do something bad? You don't look like someone who does bad things. Listen to me very carefully. Sam knelt to her level, hands on her small shoulders. I need you to find Freya. Tell her about the special project. It's hidden behind the workbench, third panel from the left. Can you remember that? Third panel from the left. But why? The door exploded inward. 3 officers entered, weapons drawn but not quite aimed. The lead officer, a weathered human with kind eyes, looked genuinely apologetic. Sam O'Malley, you're under arrest for assault against Morgan Cross. No. Aveline launched herself at the officer's legs. No, you can't take him. He's good. He fixes things. He fixed Mr. Whiskers. Bad people don't fix hamsters. Kid, please step back. He makes my sister smile. Nobody makes her smile anymore but Sam does, and you can't take him. Tears streamed down her purple cheeks. Please, he's not bad. He's the opposite of bad. He's good bad. Wait, that's not right. Sam gently pulled her back. Aveline, look at me. She hiccuped, silver eyes wide and wet. Remember what I said about broken things? That they can be fixed. That's right. This is just another broken thing, but I need you to be brave and find Freya. Tell her everything. Third panel from the left. Can you do that? She nodded, bottom lip trembling. Third panel. I'll remember. I have a very good memory. I remembered all the planets in order once. Well, most of them. The officer stepped forward with restraints. I'm sorry about this, O'Malley. For what it's worth, Cross is pressing charges for a lot more than a bloody lip. My kid says you fix her school's equipment for free. Just doing my job. As they led him away, Sam saw Aveline running in the opposite direction, her silver hair streaming behind her like a comet's tail, Mr. Whiskers bouncing in her grip. The holding cell smelled like industrial disinfectant and despair. Sam had been there 6 hours, maybe 7, hard to tell without windows. His lawyer, a public defender who looked 12 and overwhelmed, had already informed him that Morgan Cross wanted the maximum sentence, 10 years for assault with aggravating circumstances. What aggravating circumstances? Sam had asked. He says you threatened him, says you've been harassing Miss Valar, says you're trying to steal corporate secrets. That's insane. That's money talking, and money speaks fluent legal. The cell door opened. Sam expected another officer, maybe the lawyer returning with worse news. Instead, Freya entered, Aveline trailing behind her. You're out, Freya said simply. Charges dropped. How? I bought the judge. What? I'm kidding. Mostly. I provided evidence that Morgan has a history of filing false charges against business rivals. Then I suggested that the media might be very interested in why the CEO of Nexus Dynamics was in a repair shop in the Port District at midnight, with armed guards. Freya, we need to go. Morgan won't let this stand. He's already had your shop condemned. Sam's stomach dropped. What? Safety violations, apparently. 17 of them. All discovered this morning by a very thorough inspector who happened to be Morgan's cousin. They returned to find yellow tape across his shop's entrance. A condemned notice plastered across the door listed violations that ranged from substandard ventilation to unauthorized chemical storage to excessive workplace happiness. "That last one can't be real," Sam said. "I may have added that one," Aveline admitted. "The rest are stupid but real." Inside, the shop had been ransacked, tools scattered, workbenches overturned. But the third panel remained undisturbed. Sam pulled out the prototype, months of work condensed into something that looked deceptively simple. 2 lens units connected to a neural interface no bigger than a credit chip. Freya's fingers explored the device with practiced precision. "You actually did it. You rebuilt my research." "Had a good teacher. You talk about neural pathways in your sleep." "I do not—" She paused. "This isn't just my research. You've improved it, made it more efficient. The power consumption alone is revolutionary." "I had to work with salvaged parts, necessity, mother of invention, all that." "Sam." Her voice dropped. "Do you understand what this means? What Morgan will do if he finds out you've succeeded where Nexus's entire research division failed? Then we better make sure he finds out on our terms." Aveline, who'd been suspiciously quiet, suddenly perked up. "I have an idea. It involves Mr. Whiskers and possibly crime." "No crime," Freya and Sam said simultaneously. "Light crime? Misdemeanor crime? The kind where nobody goes to jail?" "How do you even know what a misdemeanor is?" "Helen's been teaching me about the legal system. She says I need to understand it given my propensity for chaos. I don't know what propensity means, but chaos sounds fun." Sam spent the next 3 days hiding in Freya's penthouse, refining the prototype while dodging Morgan's investigators. The device needed calibration specific to Valyrian neurology, and Freya served as the most patient test subject imaginable. "Anything?" he asked for the 100th time, adjusting the neural frequency. "Just static. Wait," she gasped. "Something shifted, like shadows where there shouldn't be shadows." "Scale of 1 to 10, how uncomfortable?" 3, maybe 4. "I can stop." "Don't you dare. We're close. I can feel it." Aveline provided helpful commentary from her perch on the couch. "Maybe it needs more power. Or less power, or different power. What if we powered it with love?" "That's not how electronics work." "You don't know that. Have you tried?" On day 4, something clicked. Literally, a tiny sound as the final connection aligned. Freya went rigid. "Freya? Talk to me. What's—" "Light," she whispered. "I can see. It's not perfect, not complete, but Sam, there's light." She turned toward him, and for the first time, her eyes focused on his face. Her hand rose, trembling to touch his cheek. "You're all blurry, but you're there. You're really there." "This is romantic, but also gross," Aveline announced. "Are you going to kiss now? Should Mr. Whiskers and I leave?" Before anyone could answer, the penthouse door chimed. On the security monitor, Morgan Cross stood with a squad of corporate security. "Miss Vaylor," his voice echoed through the intercom, "I have a warrant to search these premises for stolen Nexus Dynamics property. Open the door, or we'll open it ourselves." "He can't have a warrant," Freya said. "Not a real one." "Doesn't matter if it's real if his security breaks down the door," Sam replied. "We need evidence. Real evidence about the lab explosion." "I told you, everything was destroyed. Not everything." Sam pulled out a data chip from the prototype. "I've been recording everything, every calibration, every adjustment. But more importantly, I found fragments of deleted files in the salvaged equipment, files with Nexus Dynamics encryption signatures dated the day before your lab exploded." Freya's enhanced vision focused on the chip. "That's impossible. That equipment was destroyed." "The main drives were, but the backup cache in the neural calibrator survived. It's fragmented, but there's enough to show Morgan's people were in your lab system." The door shuddered under impact. Morgan had given up on waiting. "Aveline," Freya said urgently, "remember the emergency protocol we practiced? Hide in the safe room and don't come out until you say the password." "What's the password?" "Mr. Whiskers is the supreme ruler of the universe." "Good girl, go." Aveline scampered away just as the door gave in. Morgan entered, flanked by 6 security guards, his perfect composure slightly marred by the bruise still visible on his jaw. "Freya, Mr. O'Malley, so good to see you both." "Morgan," Freya stood, the prototype lenses catching the light. "I'd say likewise, but we both know I've never been good at lying." Morgan's eyes fixed on the lenses. His expression shifted from smugness to hunger. "You actually did it. The neural optic interface. My researchers said it was impossible." "Your researchers lack imagination," Sam said. "Perhaps, but they excel at acquisition. Hand over the prototype and all research materials." "No. No? Mr. O'Malley, you're hardly in a position to negotiate. You're a disgraced engineer with a condemned shop and a criminal record." "About that criminal record," Sam pulled out his phone. "Funny thing about security systems, they're only as good as their weakest link, and your personal security forgot to disable their recording equipment when you visited my shop." On the phone screen, crystal-clear video showed Morgan threatening Sam, admitting to destroying his reputation, confessing to having judges and safety inspectors in his pocket. That's inadmissible. In court, maybe, but the court of public opinion has different rules. Sam's finger hovered over the send button. One tap and every major news outlet gets this video, along with the evidence of Nexus Dynamics' infiltration of Valar Biotech's lab systems the day before the explosion. Morgan's face cycled through several colors. "You're bluffing." "Everyone," Freya said loudly, "might want to see this." The penthouse door, still hanging off its hinges, filled with reporters. Camera drones hummed to life, their lights flooding the room. "Miss Valar," one reporter called out, "is it true you've regained your sight?" "Partially," Freya replied, touching the prototype, "thanks to this man's brilliance and determination." "Mr. Cross," another reporter pushed forward, "how do you respond to allegations of corporate espionage?" Morgan straightened his tie, his media training kicking in. "These are baseless accusations from a desperate—" The lights went out. In the darkness, a small voice piped up. "Oops! Mr. Whiskers must have accidentally chewed through the power cable. Bad Mr. Whiskers." Something small and mechanical skittered across the floor. Morgan yelped, stumbling backward. The emergency lighting kicked in just in time to show him tripping over Mr. Whiskers, arms windmilling as he crashed into his own security team. "That was definitely an accident," Aveline said solemnly. "Mr. Whiskers would never deliberately trip someone. He's very ethical." By the time Morgan extracted himself from the pile of guards, the reporters had their story. The footage of him sprawled on the floor, cursing at a toy hamster while Sam's evidence played on every screen in the room would be viral within hours. "This isn't over," Morgan snarled, his perfect composure finally shattered. "Yes," Freya said quietly, "it is." 2 weeks later, after Morgan's arrest for corporate espionage and attempted murder, Sam stood in his rebuilt shop. Insurance money from the false condemnation had covered renovations. The place actually looked respectable now. Clean floors, organized tools, proper ventilation that didn't wheeze like an asthmatic dragon. "I liked it better before," Aveline announced from her new assistant's workbench. Really just a kid-sized table where she sorted screws and drew pictures of Mr. Whiskers fighting crime. It had character. Now it looks like adults work here. Adults do work here. Boring adults. Not cool adults who talk to toasters. The door chimed. Freya entered, still wearing the prototypes but now moving with easy confidence. The lenses weren't perfect. She'd probably never have complete vision, but she could navigate the world again. More importantly, she could see the faces of the people she loved. You're staring, she told Sam. You can't prove that. Your vision's only about 60%. 65. And improving. She moved closer, hands finding his face with a combination of sight and familiar touch. You need a shave. I shaved yesterday. That explains nothing. Her fingers traced the familiar landscape of his face, the broken nose, the scar above his left eyebrow from a childhood accident, the laugh lines that had deepened over the past month. You're still beautiful, she said. The lenses definitely need adjusting. She kissed him, cutting off his deflection. It was different now. She could see his expression, watch his eyes close, observe the way his hands automatically found her waist. EW. Aveline covered Mr. Whisker's optical sensors. There are children present, innocent children who don't need to see adult kissing. You've been trying to get us together for months, Sam pointed out. That was before I knew it involved so much face touching. Nobody warned me about the face touching. Would you prefer we stop? Freya asked. No, you have to get married so I can be a flower girl, but maybe kiss less obviously? Or when I'm not around, or just pat each other's heads like Mr. Whiskers and his girlfriend do. Mr. Whiskers has a girlfriend? Miss Squeaky. She's a robot mouse. It's very complicated and beautiful. 3 months later, the shop hummed with activity. Sam worked on his 5th neural optic prototype of the week while Freya handled consultations with newly blind patients. They'd partnered with hospitals across 3 systems, providing affordable alternatives to the expensive treatments Nexus Dynamics had monopolized. Mr. O'Malley? An elderly Martian entered, holding the hand of a small child, his granddaughter, blind from birth. We heard you might be able to help. We can try, Sam said, then called out, Aveline, new patient. Aveline appeared with a clipboard nearly as big as she was. Welcome to O'Malley and Associates. I'm the associate. Well, one of them, the smallest one, but very important. As Freya began the consultation, Sam watched her work, patient, thorough, kind. She looked up, catching him staring, and smiled. The wedding was next week. Aveline had insisted on purple everything, purple flowers, purple cake, purple bow tie for Mr. Whiskers. It's symbolic, she'd explained. Purple for Valurians, and purple for bruises because love is beautiful, but also sometimes hurts, like when you walk into walls because you're thinking about someone instead of watching where you're going. That's oddly profound, Freya had said. I'm 8 3/4. I'm very wise. The wedding itself was small. Just family, close friends, and half the Port District who'd decided they were close friends. Aveline's flower girl dress had pockets specifically designed for Mr. Whiskers. Dearly beloved, the officiant began, then paused as Aveline raised her hand. Yes? Is this the part where I throw flowers at people? Not yet. When? I'll signal you. What's the signal? I'll say, now you may kiss. That seems unrelated to flower throwing, but okay. The ceremony continued, with only 3 more Aveline interruptions. Is it flower time? Now? How about now? When Sam and Freya exchanged rings, Mr. Whiskers chirped the wedding march, slightly off-key. Do you, Sam O'Malley, take this woman? Yes. I haven't finished. Sorry. Yes. Continue. Freya laughed, her enhanced vision letting her see Sam's nervous fidgeting, the way he kept touching the ring in his pocket like a talisman. Finally, the officiant reached the crucial words. You may now kiss. Flower time, Aveline shrieked, launching handful after handful of petals with remarkable accuracy, mostly at the couple's faces. Tactical flower deployment. Through the storm of purple petals, Sam found Freya's face, both of them laughing too hard to kiss properly. I told you she'd find a way to make this memorable, Freya murmured against his lips. Your sister is a force of nature. Our sister now. You signed the papers. From somewhere in the crowd, Aveline's voice rang out. Mr. Whiskers and I planned this whole thing. We're basically professional matchmakers. We're taking clients, reasonable rates. 6 months after the wedding, the shop had transformed. The faded sign reading Fix-It Shop had been replaced with O'Malley and Associates, Neural Optic Specialists. A children's play area occupied one corner, officially for young patients but mostly for Aveline and her growing collection of robot animals. "I think Mr. Whiskers needs a friend," she announced one afternoon, organizing screws by size while Sam worked on a particularly complex calibration. "He has Miss Squeaky. They broke up. Creative differences. She wanted to move to Mars. He's committed to his work here. It's very tragic." Sorry for his loss. He's handling it well, throwing himself into his career. He's considering a degree in engineering. Ambitious for a hamster. Robot hamster, very different, much more career-focused. Freya emerged from the consultation room with their latest patient, a teenager who'd lost his sight in a racing accident. The new lenses were lighter, more efficient, and could be adjusted as the wearer grew. Version 2.0, Sam called them, though Aveline insisted they should be called Supervision 3000. "How do they feel?" Freya asked the boy. Like magic," he breathed, looking around in wonder. "I can see my mom." His mother burst into tears, hugging him, then Sam, then Freya, then Aveline, and somehow even Mr. Whiskers. "This is why we do this," Freya said quietly to Sam as the family left. "The hugging, the hope." "Speaking of hope," Sam said, pulling up his latest designs, "I think I've figured out how to extend the visual range into the ultraviolet spectrum. That's not medically necessary." "No, but it's cool. Imagine seeing colors that don't technically exist." "You're such an engineer. You married this engineer." Momentary lapse in judgment. "That's been lapsing for 6 months now." The lapse continues. Aveline made exaggerated gagging noises. "You're being gross again. Mr. Whiskers is very impressionable." "Mr. Whiskers has seen worse," Freya said, ruffling her sister's silver hair. "True, he's very worldly. He's been to 3 planets now. 2 planets and a moon. Moons count." As they debated lunar classification, Sam watched his strange, perfect family. A year ago, he'd been alone in a dirty shop, talking to toasters and drinking cheap whiskey. Now he had a wife who saw him, really saw him, a sister-in-law who believed he could fix anything, and a robot hamster with apparent career ambitions. "What are you thinking about?" Freya asked, noticing his distant expression. "Just thinking about how a purple 8-year-old..." 8 3/4, Aveline interrupted, almost 9. "Was the smartest person on this rusty planet." Aveline beamed. "I knew you'd marry each other. I told Mr. Whiskers on day 1. He thought I was crazy, but I knew. You needed each other. Freya needed someone who'd see her as Freya, not as broken, and Sam needed someone who couldn't see his terrible fashion choices." "My fashion choices aren't..." "You wore the same shirt for 3 days straight last week. It was comfortable. It had holes. Ventilation." Freya laughed, the sound bright and free. "She's got a point. You're supposed to be on my side." "I am. That's why I bought you new shirts." "When?" "Tuesday. They're in your workbench. 3rd drawer." "How did you..." "I know everything," Freya said, then winked. Actually winked, a gesture she'd been practicing with her restored vision. "Also, Aveline told me." "Traitor," Sam told the girl. "Strategic information sharing," Aveline corrected. "Mr. Whiskers says communication is key to a healthy relationship." "Mr. Whiskers is very wise. He really is. We should probably pay him." The shop door chimed. Another patient, another chance to fix something broken. Sam stood, ready to work, but Freya caught his hand. "Thank you," she said quietly. "For what?" "For seeing me when I couldn't see myself. For fixing things that seemed unfixable. For taking a chance on Aveline's ridiculous matchmaking scheme. Best mistake I ever made." Excuse me, it was not a mistake, Aveline protested. It was a carefully calculated plan, with charts. Mr. Whiskers made spreadsheets. They all turned to look at the robot hamster, who was somehow holding a tiny piece of paper covered in illegible scribbles. See? Aveline said triumphantly. Spreadsheets. And in a shop that smelled like motor oil and hope, surrounded by the controlled chaos of their improvised family, Sam realized that broken things weren't just worth fixing. Sometimes they became stronger for having been broken. Come on, he said, squeezing Freya's hand. Let's go fix something. Together, she agreed. Can Mr. Whiskers help? Aveline asked. Always. As they worked side by side, the afternoon light streaming through windows that were finally clean, Sam caught Aveline whispering to her robot hamster. We did good, right, Mr. Whiskers? We fixed them both. And from his tiny speaker came a satisfied chirp that sounded almost like agreement. 5 years later, narrated by Aveline Valar O'Malley, age 13. So here's the thing about being 13 3/4. Everyone expects you to be all moody and complicated, but honestly, life's pretty fantastic when you're the coolest aunt in 3 solar systems. Aunt Evie. My nephew Tomas bounces into my workshop. Yes, I have my own workshop now. Thank you very much. Luna took apart Mr. Whiskers again. I spin around in my chair, which cost more than most people's houses because we're ridiculously, obscenely, almost embarrassingly rich now. Turns out when you invent neural optic technology that cures blindness across 17 different species, money just sort of happens. Luna, I call out. My 4-year-old niece appears, purple hands covered in mechanical hamster parts, silver hair sticking up like she's been electrocuted. She looks exactly like I did at that age, except somehow more chaotic. I'm improving him, she announces solemnly. He needs rocket boots. Mr. Whiskers doesn't want rocket boots. He's afraid of heights. How do you know? We've been friends for 5 years. I know these things. From the main lab, I hear Sam laughing at something Freya said. They're working on version 7.2 of the lenses now, ones that can actually let you see through walls, though the government keeps trying to classify those as weapons. Sam says they're medical devices. The government says they're spy equipment. Freya says they're both idiots and goes back to her research. They've got 3 labs now, 2 factories, and an entire hospital wing named after them. But Sam still fixes toasters on weekends. He says it keeps him grounded. Freya says he's ridiculous. Then they kiss and I have to cover the twins' eyes because gross. Aunt Evie, Tomas asks, sitting on my workbench. Tell us the story again. Which one? The one where you made Mom and Dad fall in love. I'm about to launch into my carefully rehearsed version, the one where I'm basically a tiny purple Cupid with a robot hamster sidekick, when Helen walks in. Helen, my old tutor, still visits every week to help with the twins' education since I insisted she be their teacher too. She's older now, obviously, graying at the temples, but her eyes are still sharp as laser cutters. Aveline, she says in that voice that means I'm either in trouble or about to be. Might I have a word? I didn't do anything. Recently. Today. In the last hour. She smiles. That weird smile she's always had, like she knows something nobody else does. It's time we discuss something important. If this is about puberty, Freya already... No, it's about your father. The workshop goes quiet. Even the twins stop fidgeting. My father's dead, I say carefully. Yes, but his work isn't. She pulls out a data pad, one of those ancient models from before I was born. Your father didn't just run Valar Biotech, Aveline. He was working on something bigger, something that required your sister's neural interface technology to complete. What kind of something? The kind that certain people would kill to obtain, have killed to obtain. Her fingers dance across the pad. Why do you think I really came to tutor you, a random Valyrian child? My brain, which Freya says works faster than most computers, starts connecting dots I didn't know existed. You weren't random. No, you were protecting us. Yes. From who? She looks at me with those sharp, sharp eyes. From the people who killed your father. The same people who tried to kill your sister. The same people who thought they'd succeeded until a certain mechanic rebuilt what they destroyed. Morgan Cross is in prison. Morgan Cross was a pawn, a greedy, obvious pawn meant to distract from the real players. She stands, straightening her simple gray dress. Your father hid something, Aveline, something in the code of the neural interfaces, something that only activates when enough people use them. How many is enough? We reached that number yesterday, 50 million users across the galaxy. I stare at her. What activates? That's what we need to find out. Together. She pauses at the door. Your father always said you'd be the smart one. Smarter than Freya, even. He said you'd know what to do when the time came. But I was 3 when he died. Your father was a man of considerable faith in genetics and planning. So much planning. That smile again. Check Mr. Whisker's original programming, Aveline. The first version, before Sam fixed him. She leaves. I sit there, holding Luna, who's still clutching Mr. Whisker's parts, while Tomas asks questions I can't answer. Mr. Whisker's original programming, the robot hamster I've had for 5 years. That just happened to break right when I needed to meet Sam, that my father gave me just weeks before he died. I look at the pieces in Luna's hands, specifically at the memory core I've never actually examined, because why would you look at a toy's memory core? Kids, I say, trying to keep my voice steady. Want to help Aunt Evie with a mystery? Yes, they shout in unison. As I carefully extract the memory core, my hands shaking slightly, I think about Helen's words, about my father, about planning, about how maybe, just maybe, a 8-year-old with a broken robot hamster walking into a repair shop wasn't the beginning of this story at all. Maybe it was just the middle.